Welcome to another episode of Buy and Sell with Lyndsay and Miguel. I'm Miguel.
And I'm Lyndsay.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about what you need to do to become a realtor. So, step one. Kick us off, Lyndsay.
Yeah, so we get a ton of questions about this from our friends. Like, how did you become an agent? So we're super excited to share this. So step one was pretty much deciding to become a realtor. You have to start your education. So that's something that I think a lot of people don't realize is you have to complete, in Virginia at least, you have to complete 60 hours of schooling before you can even get your license. So at least during COVID times, they allowed you to do this online. That's what I did. Is that what you did as well?
So I actually did in-person classes at Long and Foster and Chantilly.
Oh, nice.
I felt like it was, better for my learning style because it was actually in class and it felt like you were back in school. It was pretty cool. You had quizzes, tests, and it was easy to get along the chapters that way.
That's good. Yeah. How long did it take you?
It took me like 2 weeks, and I think it was maybe like 5 days a week, and I think it was like 7 or 8 hour classes each day.
Wow. Okay, so that is definitely the more efficient route to take if you're trying to get your license quickly. Do it in person. I did it online, so it was all self-paced. And it took me probably 2 or 3 months to complete all the schooling. I was doing like 4 hours a day on my own time. So it definitely kind of depends on if you're trying to do it while you have another career or if you're doing it, solo.
Yeah, exactly. That's the cool part about, when you decide you want to become a realtor. Everything is at your own pace, at your own speed. You're basically your own boss from day one. So it's however you want to take your education, whether you want to do it online or whether you want to do it in person. It's completely up to you from day one.
Yeah, and then I think for the online portion at least, I think I paid around $200 or $300 for the education. Was that similar for you?
Exactly. It was about $250 to $300.
Okay. Yeah, so when you become an agent, you do have to think about your upfront costs. So you're going to pay for that education. And then once you complete your schooling, you have to take the licensing exam.
Yeah, so the licensing exam consists of a state and a nationwide portion. I believe it's maybe like 60 questions and 20 questions.
Yeah, it was almost 100 total.
Exactly. But the cool thing about that is once you've taken the national portion, you don't have to take it again if you want to get your license in any other state. So for example, after you have your Virginia license and you want to get your DC or your Maryland license, all you have to do is study for that specific state. So maybe like 25 to 30 questions on that. So yeah, that's another thing to think about.
Yeah, and then the test costs money as well. I think that was under $100.
Yeah, the test is about $60.
Okay, yeah. And then you can take that multiple times if you don't pass. Hopefully you get it right on the first try. A bunch of the different, so I used Real Estate Express for my school, and they offer like study packages to help you like with practice tests, things like that. Other schools that I know people have taken is through Mosley and the CE Shop. So those are some websites to look into if you want to compare the pricing on the schooling.
Yeah, Mosley is awesome. I definitely recommend Mosley because they also give you the continuing education once you already had your license. You can take all of your, continuing education credits that you're going to need to maintain your license throughout your career. And they offer those to you for free, which is really cool.
That is cool. And then, so once you pass your test, so it kind of depends on how quickly you're trying to do everything, but you want to start looking for a brokerage. So once you're able to pass the test, then you have to hang that license with a specific brokerage. So you have to make sure that you're picking a brokerage that is going to be a good fit for you.
Exactly. So I'm glad you brought up interviewing brokerages. That's definitely what you need to do. You're going to be interviewing brokerages. It's not going to be vice versa because at the end of the day, they want you to be, a realtor on their team, and you need to make sure that they're going to be the right fit for you. I definitely do recommend looking for your brokerage maybe even before you pass the test. This way, you can see what they have to offer throughout, the whole experience.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you something to work towards too when you know you're going to work for Century 21, for example. Like, then you have this goal to reach. Like, it kind of just makes things more motivating for you when you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. And I do recommend taking the test as soon as you finish up your classes because it's a lot to learn. And at the end of the day, you're going to start forgetting little bits and pieces. definitely take your test immediately after your class. And if you do fail, you can sign up the next day. Definitely just keep taking the test until you win.
Yeah, definitely. And then something to keep in mind too, like when you become an agent, that brokerage, the reason why you're interviewing them is because they're not paying you. So you're bringing the business to them basically. So every deal that you make, you're going to have a certain split with that brokerage. So they'll get a cut based on whoever you're with, and then they use that percentage of the money to offer you help with like your marketing, or maybe they'll offer a CRM system to help you with your database. Each company offers different things like that. So that's a question that you want to ask when you're interviewing is what kinds of things does the brokerage offer to their agents?
So I personally, as well as Lyndsay, do recommend joining a team at first, especially. We're part of the Battle Group here in Northern Virginia. The reason why we joined the Battle Group is because we're very video focused, as you can see. So that's where we see the future of real estate going, and we definitely recommend that you at least take a look at different teams in the area and what they have to offer.
Yeah, it definitely helped because when I had first started, I wasn't sure exactly what route I was going to take. I just had no idea the options. And after like having like maybe a few days a week on my own, it almost feels like you're on your own little island. And when you're on a team starting out, like we can call each other all the time and share stories or ask questions, like get advice, like bounce ideas off of each other. And when you're a realtor on your own, you have your broker to call, or maybe you make friends with other people in the company, but you don't really have someone who's working towards the same thing as you. So that's why I like being on a team. But.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all have each other's backs. I did a home inspection for Lyndsay. She does showings for me when I'm out of town. So, I mean, it's nice to be part of a team for sure.
Yeah, and then other expenses you want to keep in mind when you're getting your license. So you do have to pay Realtor Association dues every year. So that can be around $1,000. You're going to have to pay your MLS dues, which is the service that holds all the listings for you. So there's just a couple things that you don't really realize when you're getting your license. I think I might have spent like maybe $2,500 when I had first started. So you definitely are investing in yourself, because at the end of the day, like, this is a business for yourself. So, yeah. Yeah,
definitely do save up some money at first. Like Lyndsay mentioned, your brokerage isn't going to pay you, and you do have a lot of money to pay up front. So when you're starting out your real estate career, definitely make sure you have a little side job, side hustle, or just a good amount of savings.
Yeah, and if you work really hard when you get started, like, it's gonna come. Like, you just have to be patient with it. I think a lot of people think it's like a get-rich-quick type job, but definitely just takes a few months. The failure rate's pretty high for new agents, so you really have to give it your all for that first year, and then it's gonna be worth it in the end.
So we touched on your education, taking the test, and then hanging your license up with a brokerage. From there, you're up and coming a realtor superstar, and hopefully on the way to making a lot of money in this career.
That's right. If you guys ever have any questions about becoming an agent, definitely reach out to us. Like, we'd be more than happy to talk you through kind of our own paths and what we did. So,
of course. As always, guys, don't forget,
buy and sell with Lyndsay and Miguel.